Okay, today I'm covering part 2 of our new live chat functionality. If you haven't watched that video is in the description of this video. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I have a lot of new cool stuff coming out, especially around AI. And here I have a new AI component that I would like to talk to you about called AI Assist. This is directly related to our live chat widget. It's basically an AI bot, but it works hand in hand with the live chat. You know, live chat, your visitors are responding, you're responding live to them. So there's no AI working on your behalf. You're in the conversations tab working, with those live chats. This AI assist module though, will respond automatically, obviously, as your AI assistant to any net new chats that come in. However, you can take over those chats at any moment, and then AI can even help when you're taking too long to respond. So I'm going to show you how that works. And once you come in and set up a chat widget, again, in that video, I go in detail, not only how to set one up, but also what all these settings mean. There are 2 new settings, so I will come back here to the configuration of your chat widget and what those mean. But once you set up your chat widget and do all the settings within here, you'll see a new tab called AI Assist over here on the right-hand side. So go ahead and click on that. This is going to bring you into where you have the ability to set up a model and train a model and some of these additional settings over here, and I'll explain those here in just a second. So as I mentioned, not only can you have AI obviously respond to every net new, but AI can respond when you're taking too long. And so that's what these settings over here are for. So one, AI Assist, if this is turned on, this means that AI is going to reach out to all your net new visitors who come in. There may be a time where you want to turn this off, where you don't want AI responding, that you're on top of it, or you have your full team out there, and you don't want AI messing around maybe during business hours or whatever. You can turn it off. However, if you turn it on and you haven't set up a model, don't worry about it, because you also have to include an active model before it to actually work. So if you're just toggling this on now, don't worry about it if you haven't set up a training model. AI Initiate, so this is that component that I'm talking about. If you have this enabled, if you don't have it enabled, and let's say AI responds to one of your chats, and you jump in there and start talking to the client or visitor, AI will not come back around and start responding to your customer. At that point, AI is done and you're taking it from there. However, if you put AI Initiate on, and you set the timing, which starts at 3 minutes, then that means even if you do respond, if you haven't responded to the next message within 3 minutes, AI will jump back in there. So it'll help you respond. You have a lot of chats going on. You may not be able to get back to somebody. AI will jump in there. And of course, when you jump back in there and respond, AI will be off for the certain amount of timing. So this is a drop down 3, 5, 10, 20, 30. Drop me a comment if you'd rather have this a free form where you can put in as many minutes as you want, but those are the settings we have initially. AI profile image is where you obviously put whatever avatar you want for your AI profile, and then your AI profile name, and then your AI profile tone. This is just a prompt that's presented, for your chat widget or for your AI bot. You can get as sophisticated on your prompt as you like. I do recommend putting in to only respond on data that you've been trained on. However, we built in a lot of prompts to safeguard that your bot is not out there answering multiplication questions, or is the sky blue? So we spent a lot of time trying to make sure that there's prompts surrounding, to keep your AI focused on the content that you're actually training the model on. So after you have these settings set up, you're going to go ahead and click on Add Training Model, and it brings up this wizard here. So obviously we're going to have more models than just ChatGPT as far as a source, but you would select ChatGPT. And then these are the available models that you can train within our system here. And so you just select whatever model you want. Now, eventually I'll have it as we bring on more models, where you'll have a designated section to put in all your API keys for each of the specific sources. However, right now you have to put in your API key every single time you add a model. Now, in most cases, you're only going to add one model. And I'll give you an example why you would want multiple models, right? So you may start out with the 3.5 Turbo, And even after training and everything else, maybe it's just not as good as you want. So you start moving up. You could also train on different subjects, right? And so you can switch these off, on and off, and use different models at any moment. So you can have multiple of the same model. It's your version of the train, right? So you can have multiple models in this scenario, but you do have to add your key every single time. So you just put in your key here, click on next. This is super important that you put your company name in. There's a lot of prompts surrounding everything that you actually prompt within this training to ensure that your company name is being represented in all these different areas. And so make sure you put your company name in. It's actually required, but make sure it is actually your company name. So then you're going to put in your full website URL, which would be https://. If you just go out to your website and grab that URL, that's what we mean by full URL. And then on company overview, I would put as much as you possibly can about your company, right? This is the initial training of your model. You can add tons more stuff after the fact, but certainly have some weight to your company overview here and put that in. And then this is the, I would say, FAQs type of style that you would need to put in. So system would be like the instructions or the prompt that are leading up to the question that the user would actually ask. And then of course the assistant would be the answer, right? So the system would be the instructions for this Q&A or whatever the user is asking and however the assistant's responding, right? So you're going to want to fill this out. This is not required, the system. However, I highly recommend it. And then, question by user and then answer by expert, right? Here you have to actually create 10 of these. You can have as many as you like, more the better, right? As a matter of fact, I would try to go somewhere around 100, 150. First pass though, make 10. You can add additional assets later on. So just come in here and create. And again, system is not required, but highly recommended. So you just keep in this add button and you're gonna go until you get to 10 minimum. By the way, if you hit next, it'll tell you gotta fill out all the fields and you have to have at least 10. So just keep going here, 8. All right. All right, so that should let me go to next. So the last question is the out of scope response. So this is where if someone come in and ask, is the sky blue? This is where your AI model is being trained on how to respond to that, such as, I'm only here to answer questions about Ligna. Is there anything I can help you about that? Whatever it may be. This is free for you to put in whatever you want. Please note that even though you're training for these specific responses, over time they'll get closer. The AI model will get closer and closer to your exact response. So be as detailed as possible and put as much weight into it to get as close as you possibly can to what you want your bot to respond to. And as you test this bot out, right? So you hit submit. Once you hit submit, what that does is that queues your model up and you'll see the status. And what happens is we're submitting that. Obviously, that model is being trained on that initial content, some additional prompts that we put in to ensure that your bot doesn't go off the deep end. And that process usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes. You just come back and keep checking until you get succeeded. Once it's succeeded, you're good to go. Now you're able to have AI turned on to your chat widget on any of your websites, so you have that chat widget on. At that point, you're going to want to test it, right? And so there's things that obviously you're going to want to continue to train. Now, what we do every night is pull all the chat sessions that happen within this chat widget, and we put those together and submit those to train your model every single night. Note that your model training depends on your limits of each of the models, but with ChatGPT, there's 5 a day. You can only train your model 5 times a day currently, right? That may change based on the time you watch this video. We have parameters built into that. So you can add all your stuff in there. we limit it all, and it'll just continue to wait for the status update. Now you can use the previous model while you're waiting for training, obviously, because right now, as soon as you get your first model, it'll come back and you'll see succeeded. You go ahead and turn it on. So you click on the actions here and you'll turn on that model. And now you're available, your live chat is going, I mean, your AI chatbot is running. Now, later on, when you come back and you test it and you have more frequently asked questions and more content you want to provide, by the way, I didn't mention this. The reason why you're putting in your website back over here, let me go back over here. The reason why you're putting in your website here, we actually scrape all the content from your website and we add that all in as part of the training process, right? So that's that initial website scrape. I didn't explain that and why it has to be a full URL, because we're actually using that to pull all the content from your website and all the pages that are inside your website that are linkable. And so make sure that live URL is there. So when you want to train your model later on, just come over here and click on this little icon here. You would name it, whatever. This is an internal name. And then you would select the type of asset. So the 4 different types of assets we have are KB pages, so knowledge-based pages. On the previous video, I talked about how to set up those pages and apply them to your live chat widget. That way they can click on your knowledge-based articles and read them on your actual chat widget. But here you can select a KB page, and then the instructions. This is basically the prompt for the page that you want. And you can add as many pages as you like here. Matter of fact, I would put at least 10 in. Now, what we do, because you have to submit enough content for every time you train, we do chunk out your content to ensure there's enough to train your model. However, I highly recommend adding at least 10 KB pages at a time. Now, you may just have one really good article that you want to update your model with later on down the road. Perfectly fine. We have parameters built into there and ensure that that article is going to go into a single training session. So put your instructions in, select your KB pages, and then website URL. So as I mentioned, we're scraping full websites to pull the content off. You can come in and bring whatever website you want, and we scrape the content from that website to train your model. Now, I do recommend if you're doing, content that's outside of your current company, and there's different company names in there about, maybe you're training your model on your competitor, or you're training your model on like services or things like that. Make sure you're putting in your instructions that very specifically that these are, who your competitor is and why you're training on this competitor, those types of things, right? So certainly important to include those instructions of what we're actually doing with your website URL. But there's other cases where you have hidden pages or pages that are not linked from your homepage that are not getting picked up from the initial training. And so you can come in here and put that full URL specifically to your site where it's at, and that'll pull in, those additional pages that you have hidden or whatever, right? So that's website URL. And then content, I worked on trying to get it to where you can upload all your different file tabs and everything. So that's coming. However, for now, it's basically select content. You have instructions. You put your instructions in. Same thing with like the KB pages. And you put the content. You would scrape your content. Basically copy and paste your content from your PDF or whatever document you have. So you have your instructions, you can put your content in and hit add. So this is free free flow content, whatever you want to put in there. And then the FAQs. This is just like the wizard that we went through. Same thing, you have to include at least 10 questions at minimum. So anytime you do FAQs, make sure you're adding in, and again, you're just hitting that plus and going through and hitting all 10. Once you do that, you hit add, and then what happens is you'll see the status inside this little eye icon. So a little table pops up. It'll show you the status of what's going on. You can only have 2 training sessions going at a single time. So you'll have others that are queued up if you're putting a bunch in right now. Once the first 2 are done, next 2 will come in, right? So you just have a little, I guess, a history of what you've been training on based on the assets that you've loaded up. This is an example of, you have put in ligna.io. These are all the pages it was able to get to on the home page, and these were the pages that were scraped and pulled in to train the model. Now, you may find pages that weren't picked up because they're just not linked on the home page. that's where you come in and put, like for instance, the blog, it didn't go past the blog. It stayed within the parameters of the site. Well, what if I want all my blog articles? Well, I'll just grab the blog and throw that in as my training website URL. And then again, the content, it's not going to show you the whole content here, and then the KB pages that you put in there. And so that's pretty much it. You'll see your status. And then, again, a lot of this stuff as far as the training takes about 10, 15, 20 minutes, depending on how much data you're putting in. And that's it. And you're ready to rock and roll. As long as you have one of your models enabled and you have AI Assist turned on. If you don't want AI Initiate, by the way, AI Assist will always respond to net new questions that come in. You will have to take over that chat on live chat. AI Initiate is where when somebody or you taking too long from a customer that you haven't responded to, AI Initiate will come in and help respond, to those conversations. So let's go back to the new settings that are important, especially for booking meetings and things like that. So to get back to your chat widget, just click on the chat icon. And now you're back into the chat widget settings. So the two new settings are meeting page and lead data form. So over here, just real quick, the initial data form, when someone first puts their information in or first initiates a chat, the initial data form comes through. And again, I cover this in detail in the previous video, but that's to grab their email really quick, like, hey, give us some information so we can know where to contact you, kind of thing. Doesn't require them to fill that out, but really cool to kind of initial. And that initial prompt is what you want to say when they get that initial form, right? You can also close down your chat widget, and that actually turns off AI, right? So AI will not be responding when it's closed. When it's closed, it's closed. And that, again, you can do always on if you don't care. You want, your AI bot always responding. But if you have a schedule set, your chat widget is closed. This is the data form that comes in. This is the prompt that is shown on there. But we now have meeting page and then also lead data form. What this is basically your AI bot, however you train it or not, is already trained on whether this person is asking for a consultation, asking for a phone call, asking for a demo, asking for a meeting or whatever. It's already trained to pull out and check your meeting page, check for available times, and present those times for the visitor to select, right? You don't have to include a meeting page if you don't want to. However, I highly recommend including a lead data form. What the lead data form does is if you don't have a meeting page, your bot will collect all the information that is needed and send that off to your data form automatically directly into your CRM, right? And then it's up to you to respond. And of course, there's messages letting the customer know that, hey, thank you for submitting your information. Our team will reach out to you as soon as possible. So you don't need a meeting page. However, if you do have a meeting page set up, this is only after the fact. This is not really that important if you have a meeting page because you actually have a form associated with your meeting page. So you don't necessarily have to include a lead data form. I would put them both in there. If you're not using a meeting page, then make sure you have lead data form. And so what that looks like, if you come up here to the chat widget preview, if you like to test on this, you can. This is live, right? With your widget, you can test within here. Or you can go out to your site that you have it embedded on. One thing to note, and I'll end on this because I believe I missed this on the last video, but we have an engagement pixel that will bring in, and a tracking pixel that will bring in all the tracking data for your visitor. This doesn't include that, right? So if you're communicating over here inside your conversations tab, it'll come up unknown, and I'll show you what that looks like. But so basically in this example, I would like to schedule a demo. My AI chatbot went out and looked at all my meeting times, which are available, pulled out some time slots. Obviously, I'm not using this meeting page much, or we just really suck at booking demos. And so there's a lot of times available for me to choose from, or the visitor to choose from. So I said, let's do this time. Now my bot's starting to ask information. What's your first name? What's your last name? What's your email address? What's your phone number? And what that did is it went ahead and submitted the booked the meeting, sent the invites out, created a lead, tagged that lead to the calendar invite, ended up in my task section, ended up a lead in my lead section, and my meeting was booked with the calendar invites out to both. So pretty powerful stuff. Obviously, just having it seamless within the CRM and then the bookings and all that. So that's pretty cool. If this was not a meeting page for this, what the questions would be different, or the responses. There wouldn't be available times. Your bot's going to try to get all the information so we can schedule a call. That information is sent over. That lead is added. Responses that the team's going to get back to you. So don't need a meeting page to still collect leads and generate the lead data, but obviously helpful. So then later on, I wanted to kind of show you what it looks like when someone starts coming through. Well, this was an example here. So as you came through, information has been sent to the team. They'll follow up as soon as possible. So I did include one of those examples, which was turning on and off my meeting page just to kind of test that around. But this is the one that I was talking about where you have AI assisting on your responses when you're not able to get back in time, right? So I came in as a different user that's on my agent, available agent. So I'm available agent over here. And so I was on this account and I saw the conversation that was going on. And I jumped in and said, hi, John, I'm with sales. I'd like to ask you a few more questions if you don't mind. No problem, please ask. Now, I took too long to come through here. And so my AI bot just, what's your current role and how do you see Ligna helping your business? And then I jumped in, just kind of turned it off for a second and said, what's your company name? Came in with next door contractors. Again, waited 3 minutes. AI jumped in, how many employees do you have? And then I jumped in immediately and said, what is your average deal size, roughly? And then I just left it alone and then responded, are you still there? And then, of course, the AI bot comes, yes, I'm here. I'm just taking notes. I'll follow up with you shortly. So again, it's assisting you, even though you may be dealing with other chats and you're still doing live. So it does collaborate with you. And of course, as you train your model more and more of these conversations start happening and train your model, it's going to get really, really powerful. So that's that. I mentioned about and so this is what it looks like over here on the conversations tab, right? So you see the different, even inside here, I see my chat AI avatar responding, and you basically just come into that chat and you start responding yourself and that'll shut off AI. But what I was talking about, unknown location. So this is that section over here that I was talking about. The reason why this unknown location, and you may see this if you don't have this tracking installed. So over here on the left-hand side, I'm responding in here. So there's no tracking going on here. However, you go over to settings, click on integrations, and click on pixels. On this tab, you can create a pixel. All right, so you create a pixel, and inside the pixel, so you just hit add pixel, put your name in, put your URL where you want your chat to be at, and you can call it, your chat pixel. Or if it's on your website that you already have a pixel on, what's important is that you need this tracking pixel here, this one, and you also need the engagement pixel. This is super important. You don't necessarily need the engagement pixel to find out where they're at, but certainly want the engagement pixel to be able to tag based on emails or Facebook campaigns and things like that. That's our fingerprint that actually tracks back to your leads in there. So I recommend putting, obviously the tracking pixel needs to be on there, the engagement pixel. If you're using our data forms, then you don't need this. Actually, your data forms won't work if you add this in. But if you have your own forms on your site and you don't want to use our data forms, feel free to put this one in there. But yeah, these are the two important ones to make the engagement work, or at least the data over here of what's happening with this lead. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, the idea is to obviously continuing the training of your model as you expand on this live chat, or the AI chat. And of course, the live chat, the more you're engaged in it, the more it's training every single night. And, again, this is a work in progress. Love to know what you think about it. The way I've looked at all these different tools, of course, we're enhancing this entire platform with AI. This is the kind of the base of this. Part 3, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, because part 3 is going to be AI agents calling. That's just about done. It's absolutely sick. What's really cool about it, it's using the models that you're training on your chat widgets, right? So this is actually all going to change where you can use these models and all these different modules within Ligna, email marketing, all blog creation, all that stuff, right? So this is like learning your business really, really well. And then you can use those models for those types of campaigns or types of modules within our system. So super excited what's coming. Again, I really want to know your feedback, obviously, on all the different things that we've set up here, and really appreciate your time. And yeah, super excited about what we got coming. Appreciate y'all very much.